Welcome to my channel. This is where we take inspiration from history and make things by hand. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to be taking a look at some tools of the ancients and trying to recreate them so that we can use them today. But before we get into it, now let's get started. This is a really old axe head that was sent to me by a friend. It's made of pure copper and is over 4,000 years old. It's amazing to hold in your hands something that has survived all this time. It's also a great example of an early tool, simple but effective. And because it's made of pure copper, it likely came from either Iran or Mesopotamia. These two regions are known for having some of the earliest examples of metalwork in the world, which dates back about 4,500 years ago. So this tool would have been used during the time period of 4,000 to 4,500 years ago. The main reason why these cultures were able to work with metals like copper is because they discovered a process called smelting. Smelting is when you heat ores and minerals to high temperatures in order to extract pure metals. It can be done using clay furnaces like this one here that I made a few videos ago, or more advanced ones like the ones being used today. The goal of today's experiment will be to build a very basic smelting furnace out of clay that we can use to smelt ore and extract our own raw metals. This is the first step in the long process of turning rocks into tools. While we don't know exactly how the first furnaces looked like, we do have a lot of examples of clay furnaces from many thousands of years later. A lot of these come from China, where the Shang dynasty was using kilns like this around 3,000 years ago. During this time, they were producing amazing bronze weapons and tools. And all of this was accomplished using a core clay furnace with a chimney and bellows. The bellows was used to blow air through the furnace, which would increase the amount of oxygen. This allowed them to reach higher temperatures than ever before. For our experiment today, I'll try to keep it simple and build a small version of one of these furnaces. I'm using a small barrel for the main chamber and an old chimney from another project for the smokestack. For the air intake, I'll use a smaller pipe, which will be connected to a bellows, just like the larger furnaces. The bellows itself is nothing more than a bag with a way to pump air into it. In modern times, we would likely use a leaf blower, but that's a little too advanced for our time period. Instead, I'll be using my own lungs to power this furnace. With everything set up, it's time to test it out. We'll start by building a small fire inside the furnace. As the materials start to burn, the smoke will travel through the chimney and hopefully create a draft that will pull air through the bellows and into the fire. If everything works correctly, the fire should get stronger and eventually be able to melt metal. In addition to the furnace, I built a stand with 3 legs. This will elevate the furnace off the ground and allow us to work underneath it. A hearth is also being constructed using bricks. This will sit under the furnace and help contain the fire. Everything is ready, and it's time to see if this thing actually works. We'll start by heating up some pieces of iron ore. The ore contains iron and other metals, but in order to extract it, we need to reach around 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot enough to melt most metals, including copper. As the fire heats up, the chimney starts creating a draft. It's actually pulling air through the bellows. Things are looking good, so I'll start pumping air into the bellows. This takes a lot of effort, but it seems to be helping the fire. And after about an hour, the temperature reaches 1,400 degrees Fahrenheit. This is hot enough to melt copper. So I'll throw in a few pieces and see what happens. It immediately melts and creates a ball. This is incredible. And after a few more minutes, the entire piece is melted. This is pure copper that came from rock. All it took was a fire and some time. I'll remove the copper and let it cool down. Once it's solidified, I'll take it out and see what we got. It's not much, but it's some beautiful copper. Just imagine what we could do with more time and a bigger furnace. In order to make tools with this copper, we'll need to heat it up even more. This is only possible with a bigger furnace, so I'll have to make a larger version. But that's a project for another day. For now, I'm just happy knowing that we were able to melt copper using a furnace that would have been familiar to someone 4,000 years ago. Now let's take a look at this axe. It probably looks pretty familiar to you. Axes have been around for a very long time and haven't changed too much in design. One of the oldest examples comes from the kangaroo culture in Australia. They created this axe around 27,000 years ago. This one is made of chert, which is a type of rock that's similar to flint. It's sharp, durable, and easy to shape. They would take flat pieces of the rock and then chip away at it until they formed a blade. The final product looks very similar to an axe and would have been useful for a variety of tasks. This style of axe remained popular for thousands of years. Even after people started making tools out of metal, the stone axe remained popular because it was lighter and easier to sharpen. This one is a European adze that was made around 2,000 years ago. I found it buried in an old homestead site in Maine. The blade is made out of iron, and the handle is made out of oak. It's very similar to the axe that I have, but it has a longer handle and a curved blade. Adzes are usually used for woodworking, while axes are used for cutting down trees. For our experiment today, we'll try to copy the Australian axe and make our own stone axe. I picked up a few pieces of chert and started working on shaping them. This was done using a hammer and chisel, along with some wet sand. After a few hours of work, I had a few rough shapes that I liked. I took them outside to clean them up a bit more. Then I brought them inside to finish the job. I took each of the axe heads and made sure they were sharp. This was done using a belt sander, but it could have been done using regular stones. Eventually, I finished my first stone axe. This was done using a piece of red chert. It's not as dark as the original, but it looks pretty close. I drilled a hole in the top and then cut down some oak branches to make a handle. The finished product looks just like a regular stone axe. This is a tool that could have been made 27,000 years ago, or it could have been made today. It's incredibly simple, and yet it's very useful. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something new. If you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting the channel. Also, be sure to follow the channel to see what I'm working on next. I've been working on quite a few projects lately, and I can't wait to share them with you. Until next time, thanks for watching.